Good morning, dear students. So, because we have done with all gross topics of head and neck, now we are just concluding with the radiology, which will be the last class for head and neck, followed by neuroanatomy. So, today I am going to discuss the X-rays of head and neck region. So, what you are seeing on the screen is the lateral view of the skull bone. So, what are the various things we see? So when I was discussing the paranasal air sinuses also, I told you we have to check for the sinuses. Like this is the frontal air sinus, isn't it? So here we have the sphenoidal air sinus. Here we have the ethmoidal air sinus and the maxillary air sinus. Okay, this is sphenoidal air sinus. Hence, this area is sella turcica, where we have the pituitary gland. So this is an outline for the mandible. We can check if there is any fracture, if this like we have condyloid process, we have the neck of the mandible, isn't it, mandibular notch, then posterior border of the ramus, angle of the mandible, we are able to see the bony orbits, right? We are able to see the outline of nose also, and few cervical vertebrae are also visible in the lateral view of the skull bone. Okay, then, so in the lateral view, what are the various things I told you? We are able to see the frontal sinus. We are able to see the maxillary air sinus. We are able to see the sphenoidal air sinus. Okay, this is the mastoid process. Hence, we have the mastoid air cells over here, isn't it? So this is maxillary sinus. Okay, so here we have ethmoidal air cells. So number one, whatever is labeled here, these are all the sinuses. Let me repeat: frontal, ethmoidal, sphenoidal, maxillary, and mastoid air cells. Okay. Number two, whatever we see is the hypophyseal fossa, where we have pituitary gland. Anteriorly, we have anterior clinoid process. Posteriorly, we have posterior clinoid process. Okay, everything is labeled for our convenience. So this is number 5, which is the partition between the nose and the oral cavity. Hence, it is hard palate. Okay, this is the condyloid process of the mandible. Here we will have the coronoid process, which is not clear in fact. Okay, then this is the ramus of the mandible, right? And this is the roof of the orbit, and this is the floor of the orbit. Okay, then this point is the cribriform plate of ethmoid bone, above which you are finding there is one projection, that is crista galli, which is the part of the ethmoid bone. Here starts the cervical vertebra. So in the cervical vertebra, this is the first cervical vertebra. This is the anterior tubercle. Okay, we know like the first cervical vertebra is atlas, second cervical vertebra is axis. Okay, so these are the spines of the vertebrae, these are the bodies of the vertebrae. And this is the outline which has been shown is the nasal bone. Now, the anterior view of the skull, what should we carefully observe? We have to check for the sutures if they are visible, the sagittal suture, okay, the coronal suture and the lambdoid suture. We are able to see the orbits very clearly. We are able to see the frontal air sinus, ethmoidal air sinus, maxillary air sinus, right? We are able to see the nasal septum. We are able to see the maxilla, the upper and the lower jaw, mandible bone, isn't it? Then, so let us see some labeled things over here. So we are able to see the sagittal suture. We are able to see the coronal suture. Behind, we will be able to see the lambdoid suture. We have again paranasal air sinuses, the frontal. We will have ethmoidal. Okay, number 2 is all ethmoidal, and this is our maxillary air sinus, which is quite big. Okay, so number 3 is inside the orbit. It is actually showing the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone. Number 4, you can see this is the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. Between the lesser and greater wing, you are finding there is an opening passage, that is the superior orbital fissure. Okay, so number 6 area, this area is actually showing us the crista galli. Okay, then this is the nasal septum. Okay, then we have this one, eighth one is the inferior nasal concha. The other ones are also visible. We have superior and middle nasal conchae as well. Foramen rotundum is too, I think, which you can ignore. Petrous ridge and the other details we need not know. You can ignore those. This is the bridge of the nose where we have the nasal septum. Okay. Then, so in this is the odontoid view where like the you can see the oral cavity has been kept open and the picture of X-ray has been taken. Okay, where you are able to see this number one, whatever has been labeled is dense. That is the odontoid process, which articulates with the first cervical vertebra, isn't it? So number two is the anterior arch of the atlas, and number three is the process, transverse process of the atlas bone. Okay, so in this odontoid view, the radiograph actually shows the displacement of the lateral masses of the first cervical vertebra. Okay, this one. It is separated. Okay, beyond the margins of the body. So this was the body and you are finding they are little separated. So it is usually called as Jefferson's fracture, fracture of the anterior arch of the atlas, mostly due to diving. Okay, deep sea diving. Now this is the lateral view of X-ray which we have in our lab also, which you are able to, which you should read. Okay, the lateral view we are able to see this first projection. What we are finding is dense, which is the projection coming from the second cervical vertebra, that is axis, right? Okay, then this is the anterior tubercle of the first cervical vertebra, that is atlas. Okay, then this is the posterior arch and also the spinous process of the first cervical vertebra. This is the spinous process of second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. These are the bodies of the cervical vertebrae. C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, and C7, followed by T1. So between the bodies of the cervical vertebrae, we have intervertebral discs. And we know this is the intervertebral foramen where you are finding the nerves are shown, that is nothing but the cervical spinal nerve C1 to C8. Okay, that is. Now, so in this lateral view, basically this should be the space between the cervical vertebra. But if you observe here, there is some reduction in the space, compression of the pointed intervertebral disc. It will cause the injury of actually corresponding. You need to number them 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the fifth one, right? So fifth spinal nerve, C5. Now this picture I have kept when we were doing paranasal air sinuses also. So in this view, we are able to see two frontal air sinuses. These are the ethmoidal air sinuses and bigger ones are maxillary air sinus. Okay. And in this lateral view of the skull bone, we are able to see very clearly the sphenoidal air sinus. This is frontal, these are ethmoidal, this is maxillary, and this view helps us to appreciate sphenoidal air sinus. This is the hypophyseal fossa, sella turcica, where pituitary gland is resting anterior and posterior clinoid processes. Okay, so this is the CT scan picture, computed tomography picture. Here also we are able to appreciate the sinuses like frontal air sinus. We are able to see maxillary and the sphenoidal air sinus also. Okay. So we have this one is ethmoidal air cells and this is the maxillary antrum, right? So in the CT also we are able to see the superior nasal concha, middle nasal concha and inferior nasal concha. Okay. So then here you are finding these are the ethmoidal air cells, right? Anterior, middle and the posterior. Okay, and this point, this picture I kept when I was doing the paranasal air sinuses also. So this point we have is sphenoidal air sinus. Okay, so it is of course, don't in this view we will not be able to see the hypophyseal fossa. So don't think much about it. Okay, then. So here we have mid-sagittal section of the head and neck region. Okay. So in the head and neck region, what are we finding? Of course, with this MRI, we do not have with us, but still, have kept this just to educate you. Like we have this point, we have the pharyngeal tonsil. This is hard palate. Behind we know this is soft palate. Okay. Then we are finding this fourth area is anterior arch of atlas, and this point is showing us dense. Okay. And then we have, if you remember, this is genioglossus muscle. This is geniohyoid muscle, and this is mylohyoid. Okay. Then here we have the cricoid cartilage, above which we will have arytenoid cartilage. This is the thyroid cartilage. Okay. And then we will see this is mandible bone. Okay. And this point we have is hyoid bone. This area is epiglottis. If you remember, median and lateral glossoepiglottic fold, in between which we have valleculae. So here we have false vocal cord. We have certain muscles like sternothyroid, and this point is the thyroid gland. Okay. And of course, this is sinus of Morgagni, 19th position. Okay. So you remember me telling when I was doing parotid submandibular regions, there is a technique called as salography, where we can visualize the ducts of the salivary gland. So the arrow is on the parotid duct. We can detect in case if there is any stone formation because of the condensation of the saliva. If saliva is becoming concentrated, it can cause stone and it can obstruct the ducts. Okay, the Swenson's duct, submandibular gland, Wharton's duct, different ducts may be blocked because of the formation of stones. Okay, so this is the allography of submandibular gland. Lateral view, we can detect inflammation of the actually parotid gland in the previous view, and here there is an, you can see there is some obstruction. Okay, if there is any obstruction, we can actually visualize. So next we have actually called as angiography, where radioactive dye is injected in the blood vessels and we are able to visualize the blood vessels with the help of angiography. So in this angiography, what are we able to see? We are able to see this as the brachiocephalic trunk. Okay, this is the right subclavian artery. And number 3, this is going to the brain. Hence, it is right vertebral artery. Then, so number 5, we have, what is this? External carotid artery of the right side. Okay. Then we have, this will be internal carotid artery, this one. Okay. So this is internal carotid artery again, and this will be the external carotid artery of the left side. And this is the left subclavian artery. And then this is the left common carotid artery, and this is aorta. Okay. So this is the angiographic picture. Okay. So this is the arch of aorta, which you can see very clearly. So this is the brachiocephalic trunk. You can see on the right side. This is subclavian artery we have, isn't it? So then the subclavian artery, and then number 1, the one which is going up is the vertebral artery. From the subclavian, we have the thyrocervical trunk, isn't it? The one which is going down and supplying in the thorax, we know it is internal mammary artery. Okay. So these are the various arteries we are seeing here. Okay. So that's it for X-rays. Thank you.